YouTube, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today we're going to finish putting together the pump that we just restored. Now, here is the pump housing, nice and pretty, and turned out pretty nice. So now what we get to do is put it together. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this plug in. So here's what I always use. I use just any black RTV gasket maker. This just happens to be made by Loctite. And if it'll work on a hot engine, it'll work on just about anything. And I hate these things when they get clogged like that. If you don't use them right away, they dry up on you, man. I'm telling you. And I just bought this thing not long ago. So now I got to figure out how to get that stuff out of there. Hate it when it does that. You'd think that they'd make these airtight. They should be airtight. Alright, now that we got that problem solved, I just put a little dab on there. Just enough to fill them threads in. I don't use a whole lot of it. And then we'll put that down inside there. And my ratchet done disappeared on me. There it is. Alright, and to make it look really neat, we're going to go in there and clean all that off of there. And I can't get down inside there, so this little toothbrush will probably work. Just get down in around that. Make sure you wipe that off of there, because then it'll contaminate your toothbrush. Alright, so now we don't have any squeeze out, and it's sealed. Alright, now make sure the hole's cleaned out. And so now what we're going to do is try to feed this down through that hole. So we're probably going to take and get us a rod, and I ain't got my shit together here. What we're going to do is we're going to take a hanger that I usually use to hang stuff with, and we're going to run that down through the hole just like so. And then we're going to take us a little bit of black tape. Well, let's put the motor together first. I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. Go ahead and put that together. You know, that's supposed to be fast drying paint, but it sure as hell ain't. And I'm going to do a review right now. Let's see here. What's that say right there? I'm pretty certain that says fast dry. Fast drying Protective Gloss Finish by Red Devil. They are lying asses. I painted this yesterday. It's been somewhere around about 18 hours, maybe less, not much less, but not. It's been a good while. It's been long enough that it should be dry by now, and it's still leaving like a what you call it, a haze when you touch it. Yeah, I don't like that. That's lying. Paint's been that way here for the last couple of years, where it says fast drying, but it's not. But anyway, first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take these washers off. You have two little thin metal ones, and four of these, two on each side, and then you got a plastic one that goes in the middle of it. So what I do, I take my little brush here of axle grease and just put a little bit on there. And you don't want a lot on there. That's all I'll do, is just a little bit. Now, put the first washer on, and that will push the other grease, or the little dab that we had around the shaft, down in the side of the washer. Then we'll put our plastic one on it, and then we'll put our second washer on it, and that's all you need to do on that side. Now we're going to put the washer on this side, and we'll squish it down on there. Alright, then put this on here. Let's put a little bit of grease in that too. And it's nice and smooth. And put a little bit of grease on this. Slide that in. Then we'll take this, put a little bit of grease on that. We'll put our nice shiny screws in it now. Make sure you put your ground in there. Then we'll tighten her up. You don't want to crank on that one until you get the other one tight. That way it squeezes it evenly. Alright, so now that we've got it evenly squeezed, we'll go ahead and just give it a little crank down. Alright, So now we're going to test the motor and make sure that it works. And before I do that, I'm going to make sure I know which one is which. So we're going to do a continuity test. And the reason I'm doing this is because these are not marked ground, neutral, and hot. So we want to make sure we got it right. So we're just going to turn that over to Buzz. And we're going to touch the ground. First you want to check it. We're going to touch the ground. And then touch these until we come up with the ground. I kind of figured that one was going to be the one. Alright, now that I know which one is the ground, the other two doesn't matter. So now we're going to test this bad boy out. The ground is the one that's going crossways, and the hot and the ground, or the neutral, which is the same thing as the ground, because you can hook the ground and the neutral, the white and the green, on the same pole. Anyway, we're going to test this out. So now we're going to plug that in. Now if these weren't shielded, I wouldn't be doing this. Alright, now we're going to plug this bad boy in and we're going to test this motor out and see if it works. See how quiet it sounds, and go from there. Well, you've seen it first. That motor just fried. Well, I might have just done all this work for nothing. Let's try this again. Well, that motor's no good. Trying to sizzle on me. So now, yep, you guys got to see it firsthand. Well, daggone it. Watch. Little smoky. I'm not going to push the boundaries. So, everybody, we're going to call this motor a fail. I'm going to have to find a motor for it. I mean, it's a shame that this thing, I mean, everything else is in good shape and cleaned up really nice, and I was real proud of the way it was working out. And I was just telling the old lady last night, that was the easiest thing I ever cleaned up. And now it don't work. The coils are heating up, so I don't know what's going on unless there's a short somewhere in it. which is a good possibility. I don't see any. It kind of looks like these wires did get a little hot at one time because they're kind of rubbery around the outside of the wire. So I don't know if maybe it got warm and these here. Let's check that and see what's causing that. It might have this zip tie that's on here might have squeezed it so tight that when it got hot or warm, squeezed them contacts together. And that's not the case. So I would venture to say that it's in the coil itself. And that's a shame too, because this would have made a really nice sub pump. So see, the heat is concentrated in this area right here. So it probably needs new windings. And I probably should have already anticipated this not working, because it didn't sound right to begin with. So this was just an effort to try to save something so I could sell it on Craigslist and be done with it. Now the question on the pulley, what I originally thought I was going to do was use epoxy. And the epoxy that I was going to use was 5-minute epoxy gel cream. Now I don't have a lot of faith in this stuff. This stuff, I think it's just a gimmick to get people to buy something, because it's not as strong as people say it is. You know, I don't have any faith in most of the epoxy, just about all of them. I would say 99.99% is hogwash to me. I've never actually found an epoxy that will work like it should. I think it's all hogwash. But anyway, I had originally thought I was going to use that on this. And I did drill the holes in the side for the epoxy to go into to cause that spider effect that I was demonstrating. But I decided that since this little screw right here, which answers your question, Crafted, the screw goes in there and screws into the end of the shaft and holds it flat. And this is just to hold it on the shaft. The flat spot was to keep it from spinning on the shaft. So I had originally was going to epoxy it, so I went ahead and instead of that, I put a set screw in there. And I wasn't going to set that set screw until I got this tightened down and had it flush. That way it spun true round instead of wobbling or seesawing. So I was going to tighten this down and then tighten this set screw on that flat side. But we ain't got to worry about that now. I can use that for something else. It's a shame that that motor is no good. I'm actually disappointed. But that's alright. We can call that a fail. But, hold on. We have this monster. Now that is a monster. It's a huge sub pump. The threads are in pretty bad shape there. I didn't notice that before. Wow. Now that is rusty. That may not be fixable. I don't know. Wow. I never noticed that. till just now. The pump works just fine. You look down in there, that is some nasty rust. Yeah, threads are just about gone. But I'm going to see if I can salvage it. It's a good possibility that if there's enough threads there that we can clean them threads up with a Dremel tool and a little round wire wheel, which I got a good guy today. We can clean that up and possibly screw one in it with some screw an adapter in it to make that solid in here. Basically put some weld on it, then screw it down in there, and hopefully that will never have to come back out. But it's a shame that it is like that, because watch this, that motor works really good. It's quiet. I can feel air coming up out of it. Let me get something here to show you. Trying to find something that will blow. There we go. This will work. Watch. So we know it works, and it's really quiet. And the only thing we have to worry about is trying to fix this, and we'll repaint it. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to clean this up. This will be another video. But for now, let me put this back down. Oh my God. Well, I wouldn't want to carry that thing around very much. So the plus side of this one here not working very good. Yeah, that paint is pissing me off, man. I'm not using that paint, that Red Devil, no more. Don't buy Red Devil paint. It's junk. It don't dry right. Look, this has been 15 to 18 hours, and it's still sticking to everything. So we got a plug out of it. We got us a nice grate that's stainless steel that can be used for anything. We got a nice O-ring out of the deal, and we got this piece that can be used for, actually we can use all this in one. I think that's how it goes. No, it goes like that. I think. Let's see how did that go. See, this went in. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then the grate went on there. Now, I'm not saying this can't be used for something else. I'm not going to give up on this yet. There might be a possibility to make something else out of that. I don't know. And we got some screws. You know, screws are always good to have. We got a nice cord that you can put in a sealed hole and screw down. A nice long one. Plus, we got the switch that I cleaned up and put on, or to put back on it, and it's got a long cord on it. So, you know, it wasn't a lost cause. The plumber took it out for a reason, and I just thought maybe I could clean it up, because not most people do this kind of stuff. Not everybody tears things apart and fixes it. most people will take and throw it in the trash and go spend hundreds of dollars for a new one when all they had to do was, in this case though, yeah, it was trash. That's a shame. I'm crying. Little jumping spider. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I'm gonna give this a thumbs down. It was a fail. I got some aluminum out of it, and this year can be put in the scrap pile. So yeah, they can be rewounded, but it's not worth it. So you guys have a good one. Later.